New build guide gonna happen? New build guide right now? Hey guys, new video here. Low F Righteous Fire. I'm gonna do a map so you guys can see how it looks, okay? Nice YouTube video after the 3 maps before. Alright, as always, you see some gameplay first, so. This is unID'd. As long as it cannot regen, I can do the map, right? So the only restrictions are I do not do no regen at as an affix. Everything else, no problem. Reflect, 40% less recovery, it's all good, okay? So as you can see, it's like pretty speedy. If you ever see like the Righteous Fire turn off, it's not actually off, it's just a visual bug, okay? Build is pretty much the same as last league. I'll show you the gears and all that stuff later. Made some changes to the tree. Another thing to note, take a look at my ES for a second. I'm going to degen while standing still. Just give me a second here. And as you can see, I'm degenning here. If I pop my sulfur flask, I'm now regenning, right? That's all it takes. And then let's wait for that to run out, and I'm going to show you again. This is the natural degen. I don't have enough regen to cover it, but if I hit my Dying Sun right here, I can cover it. Okay, see how that works. And also, let's wait for the Dying Sun to go off, and I'll kill like one monster or something. So I'm degenning here, right? Let me just kill these monsters. And then as you can see, I kill 1 or 2 monsters, and look, boom, easy game. Okay, so it doesn't take much to regen, and that's why I'm going Occultist, because I like the up to 30% regen, which you have most of the time, and it kind of lends itself to being a faster build because you just like keep going, and then you never really degen unless you're not paying attention. So obviously you have to pay a little bit more attention than the life-based version, but I think the trade-offs are pretty good. Also ES, if you like going ES, you can go that. Purple explosions that you see are Profane Bloom. It's just like a chance after you kill a monster to explode for like a quarter of its health to nearby enemies. It helps a little bit with cleanup. But one downside of the build is like beyond cleanup is always a nightmare. So Profane Bloom doesn't really help with that because it's like an instant hit. It's not like Auto Bomber where the Herald is always ticking away. Okay? Alright, so that was the map. As you can see, not that bad, right? Another thing to note is that a little bit on the skill tree has changed from last one. But anyways, skill tree is like this. Malediction for +1 curse, so I can use a Witchfire to give me a Despair, and then the one that's on my Blasphemy is going to be a Flammability Blasphemy, right? And over here you get some Wicked Ward, 100 ES, nice, 150, they like buff this. And it used to be like 0.5, but unlimited, but let's be honest, you didn't really need unlimited. So this is smoother at the lower levels of monsters killed, and it ramps up faster, so it's better overall. And the ES also is pretty nice, okay? Pretty good stuff. Not bad. And then skill tree, pretty much the same. Here's why I changed on the skill tree from before. I got this overcharged. And you might be like, well, why'd you get overcharged, right? Because, I mean, that's 4 points for like, ugh, it's kind of gross. And it is kind of gross. But the reason I got it is because these 4 points, where would I put them, right? I could put them here for mana and a jewel socket. I could put them into ES, like here, and like maybe one right here. I could put them into, I don't know, some other weird stuff, right? And sure, that's fine. Like, I don't need more damage, really. ES, it's like whatever, I have enough ES, and with a Headhunter, what happens is you just get so much ES that like a little 6% node is like whatever. What do you get from here? You get power charges, and you're like, well, power charges suck, right? Righteous Fire doesn't crit. Well, watch this. So you have an increased crit with your shield charge, faster attacks, fortify, and increased crit, which means that without this, you don't have power charges. So when you have the power charges, it makes your crit juicier because you already have a base crit modifier here. And then you become an elemental overlord, and it'll help proc this more often than before. I also tested out a increased accuracy gem here, but increased crit was better for me. It just felt smoother. You become an elemental overlord more often, which is always good. So that's why I decided to take overcharge. Also, endurance charges are really nice, right? Sometimes if your resists are a little bit iffy and you go into a map and you forget your warding, or you don't always keep like that perfect 100% warding, you might drop below a little bit. And I have 4 endurance charges because I wear Death's Door, And so, you know, I get resist and I get fizz reduction. So that's like really nice, right? It's not like it's not like a, you know, it's not something that like you'll never feel on your character. It's really nice. And then of course, Frenzied Charges. If you look at the nodes down here, these are 3% nodes, right? 3 and 4% nodes. If you look at Shadow, 4% nodes. So this is 3% attack speed per node and 12%, is it 12% more damage, which is insane. I think it's better than a jewel socket with even quad jewel, okay? Are you sure the VOD doesn't get muted with Michael Jackson in the background? I guess we'll cross that bridge when we see it in the distance. Okay, so that's the big change right there. And then another thing, what else did I do? Actually, that's about it. Right here, if you ever like have an extra point, you can take off this 0.6 and then go into like 24% increased damage. That's always nice. You can swap between those depending on what level you are. Or in fact, I might take this 0.6 or 6%, sorry. And like this one, you don't need these two, but I mean, it's like a little tiny bit for vitality, tiny bit for discipline, and yeah. Anyways, what else do I have? This scepter right here is an update as well to the previous video. And what this does is it is a more multiplier to your attack speed over a Doriani's Catalyst. Doriani's Catalyst is kind of the starter weapon, 15% attack speed, but you'll feel that slow. So this one, it can be 27%, I believe, right? It's tier 1. Yeah, 27%. If I want to divine it, I probably don't because I don't have Leo. So it makes you shield charge a lot faster. The avian on it is just like, it just happened to be on there, right? So as you can see, the same amount of damage as Doriani's, but way faster for mapping. Like, this is built for mapping. Helm, you just want a horror helm for your Righteous Fire for another link, and then burning damage, conk effect, increase AoE. It doesn't actually matter. Just try to get one support gem on there. It's gonna be expensive. This took me like 2 weeks to whoop. The Amulet Presence, which I use, same as last league. The links, I'm not gonna go over links or anything because they're exactly the same as last league. What I will go over though is, and then of course shield, you want to get like, either you can use Rise of the Phoenix if you're poor, or you can get some kind of ES shield with max res and then reduced damage taken. Boots are the same, Death's Door. Now this 2% regen is actually questionable. I'm thinking about switching this to 16% attack and cast speed. Because as you saw before, if I kill 2 monsters, that's the effect of this boots, and I'll have that forever, right? So these boots, when you're hit, and you don't get hit that often, really, you do not, if you look at like the map footage, like you just don't get hit. So this is kind of like, it's kind of useless actually. Well, not useless. When you get hit with the mana, it's kind of nice for Scorching Ray, because like your mana issues are so bad. But I might change that up. But Death's Door, really nice. Saves you a staunching roll on one of your flasks. But I won't go over the links or anything. It's exactly the same as last league. Headhunter here for when I steal ES and attack speed. It feels really nice. Same kind of gloves as last league. You want to get as much ES as you can, and then insanity roll on them, and then that's it. Right? That's about it. Rings are the same thing. Opals, fire, suffix if you can get them. I was lacking resist, so I couldn't afford it. This one is a big change here. Aspect of the spider. So before I was running, last league I was running Clarity. Level 21 Clarity takes about the same amount of mana as Aspect of the Spider. I took out Clarity and I put an Aspect of the Spider because this is like super OP. Like let me just show you the range of this thing actually. Part 2, Blood Aqueducts. I'll just show you right here. So, here, let's go. Alright. You see that? Look at that range. That's bigger range than the Righteous Fire bubble. Okay. Much bigger range than the Righteous Fire bubble, as you can see. And what it does is it stacks up to 3 times, applies automatically once per second. And so basically every normal mob that you will touch in any way with your Righteous Fire is taking at least 5%. It's taking at least 5% more damage, sometimes 10%, sometimes 15%, right? And helps bosses too. So because I don't have any other forms of monsters take increased damage and gear on the tree or anything like that, like, you know, Intimidate, which doesn't even work with certain things. Never mind. There's no other more multipliers. So it's like it's 15% more multiplier on the boss always, pretty much, and then, you know. So more multipliers are good. Also, it slows them, so it's a defensive. If you're mapping, you're going for 100. Helps a lot. It's extremely OP. I think this is probably my favorite thing about the new league aspect of the spider. And you can craft this onto rings. If it has an open suffix, you buy a Venomous, which is like 15C, craft it in the beast altar onto a like any item that has an open suffix, and you get aspect of the spider. It reserves 21% mana for me because I have like some reservation nodes on the tree. So much juice coming out of this one thing. It's amazing. And that's about it. Let's see, what else? Flask, Chemist Silver Warding, so that you don't have to deal with any kind of curse. It has almost 100% uptime. Witchfire Brew for the extra curse from, once again, from Malediction. And this is like, I tried out in Presence with Despair. It felt okay. You can try that if you want to go full YOLO. Okay. Alchemist, Quicksilver Adrenaline, nothing needs to be said here. Speed for shield charge and when you're picking up items. Dying Sun, just because I like that extra radius on my Righteous Fire, and of course max res, and you have Alchemist up here, so like a little bit extra. And then Sulfur Flask of Heat, this one's like just whatever. It doesn't have to be a Sulfur Flask, it can be anything. Phasing, it can be Basalt, but just get your freeze immune, right? Experimenters last a long time. Okay, that's about it. Actually, if I was like smart, if I was a smarter dude, which I'm kind of dumb, I would put warding on this one because that's 6.3. Okay, I'll put warding on here, and then I put heat on here. Okay, but whatever. That's like, I just realized that I'm so dumb. That's about it. Gems, Watcher's Eye, I have like a 2.5% ES here and a Vitality regen 1 here. Other gems are just simply, you get ES, damages, attack speeds. What is this one? Damages and attack speeds, the usual stuff. That's about it. That's all that's really changed. Everything else is the same as the last video. You can refer to that. That's it. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have questions, you can ask me on my stream at twitch.tv/cutenedog_. Alright, I'm going to cut that. I'm going to export that to YouTube. Hopefully the Michael Jackson song in the middle of it didn't like booty blast the video. If so, I'm going to upload it anyways. It'll just have a small 3-minute muted section in the middle of the video. It'll be fine. I started watching Ore Monogatari. I love it. It reminds me of a romance version of Sakamoto Desuga.